Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC. Now today, I believe it's today, this goes live. This is the Nitecore EDC17. Over the last 2 or 3 years, there's been quite a lot of these candy bar, chocolate bar style lights coming out. And they're all in a position where they're all doing similar things. The feature set on this is similar to some other manufacturers. However, the UI on this, I feel, really separates this from what everybody else is doing. And that's what you're here to have a look at. So, let's turn the camera around and take a closer look at the Nitecore EDC17. Now this is the pre-production version, so normally I do maybe a little unboxing, but unfortunately I can't do that with this. It arrived as it is, and you get the charging cable, you get a lanyard, and the instructions and that sort of stuff with it. But when these go live, of course, it'll have all of the nice kind of marketing literature and stuff that go with that. Kind of to get some of the kind of the big details out of the way. So as far as the size of this is concerned, it comes in at 123 millimeters. The height on this comes in at 32 millimeters. Now this is one of these candy bar style ones. So as you can see, it has a rectangular form factor to this. At its widest point, which really would include the clip here, it comes in at 20 millimeters, and at its thinnest point, which I guess is without the clip, it comes in at 16 millimeters. So it's not particularly heavy as far as lights are concerned. It comes in just at 106 grams, and that is with the battery in here. Now, one of the things kind of, I suppose, to stress with this, and it's very similar to a lot of other lights that are similar to this. So this doesn't have a hot swappable battery that you may have with some other lights. There's a 1500 milliamp hour battery that's in here, which, it's fairly easy to recharge. Certainly no issues with that. I have this, so let's say I am still on full charge. But if you need a light that you can swap the batteries in and out because you go through the batteries so quickly, this just may simply not be the light for you. However, I will say, knowing the amount of lights that that Nitecore have, they will 100% have a light that's more suitable for you. Put it that way. So yeah, so that all includes with the battery in here. Now, as far as the form factor is concerned with this, as you can see, so it's very similar to a lot of manufacturers have moved to this. I think for EDC, this form factor is absolutely awesome. It slips into the pocket really well. One of the things that you will notice is this kind of hand swell here at the end, and the way that this operates is by pushing this lever forward, or this switch forward, which allows you to go through the different settings. As soon as I saw this, so the guys at Nitecore got in touch and like, oh, we've got this new light coming out, would you like to have a look? And straight away I was like, yep, brilliant, I'll always help out. But two, when I saw this, all I thought was, that looks like an OTF knife, and it really does look like an OTF knife. So you have this swell down here at the bottom, which you can make sure you kind of keep a grip on with your fingers, and then you push that forward. Now with an OTF knife, of course, a knife would shoot out of the end, but with this is your UI on here. Now, before we get into the UI, because I do want to touch on the charging point. So the charging point is here. It is a USB Type-C charger on here. It has a little door that opens. You can push that on, and that will keep that in place. As far as your dust and water rating is concerned with this is IPX7. So X means for the dust. They haven't tested for the dust, but I'm sure it's still pretty good for the dust. And for water, it is a 7. 8 is the highest that you can get for consumer electronics, which means that you could drop this 2 meters underwater and you're going to be good. A 7 is still pretty water resistant, so if you're out walking in the rain, or even if you drop it into a shallow puddle, take it out, dry it off, you're certainly not going to struggle with IPX7. Now let's get back to the UI on this, because I really do think that this is something that separates it out from other lights. Sorry, I got the hiccups then. Now, but before we do, looking on the end here, you have 3 emitters, and this is all governed by the UI. So you have a white light emitter, you have a green laser, and then you have a UV light emitter from here. The UI is all done through this switch that pulls forward and backwards, and then there is also like a mode button here. So you have, for the white light, you have a ultra low mode, you have a low, you have a medium, and you have a high mode. For this slider here, if I push this forward, this will put it onto its low mode. If I push it forward again, it'll put it onto its medium mode. If I push it forward again, it will put it onto its high mode. So being able to, this is really nice. I generally do like this setup. For me, there are so many multifunctional lights, and part of the issue is remembering how to use them, and keeping things simple really is key with a lot of this sort of stuff. So you want to put it on, you just push it forward. The only issue maybe would is if you pushed it a little bit too far, but the slider on this has some really nice tactile positive engagement. There was a light that I looked at recently, and somebody did make a fair comment that the slider on it it moves too easily, and it's too easy to engage in your pocket. The notches on this, the kind of that positive engagement, if I bring this up to the, hopefully you can hear that, but it's got a very nice tactile kind of lock as it enters each of those three phases. And then yeah, so again, just nice and easy. If you just want to go straight to high, push that forward, and then you're on high, or you can step it back to medium or low. The ultra low mode, if you want to put it on that, which is kind of like the moonlight mode, all you need to do is keep your finger down on this mode button and then push it forward. So now hopefully you can see it. So this is on its low mode. Now whether you push this onto stage 1, stage 2, I'm calling these stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, they're probably not called that, but whether how far you push this forward, it's always going to be in that low mode. So you just push down on the mode. I wonder if I can do this with one hand. No, I can't quite do it with one hand. Although, let's try. I can do it with one hand, so if needs be, if you wanted to do it with one hand, then you can do. Now this mode button has a few different functions, whether it's on or off. So when it's off, and by off I mean, so this is here and it's locked, so you can see there's a little lock button there, and that just means that, you know, it's not working. So whilst this is in its lock button, if I press the mode button, it will give me instant access to the green laser, and this is a momentary kind of thing. So you can just go, oh, if you can see here on this data from the 3rd trimester, we can see, and then you take your thumb off it, and then, you know, it turns it off. If it's on though, so let's put this onto its medium mode. If I now press the mode button, this will switch it to its green light or green laser mode. If I turn this off and turn it back on again, you'll see that it stays in its green laser mode. If I press it again, it now puts it into its UV light mode. So I can turn this off, turn it back on again, and it's still in its UV light mode. Now with the UV light, or at least with the white light, you have low, medium, and high. With the UV, you also have 3 levels as well. So you have level 1, which would be like the low on the white light. You have level 2, and then you have level 3. So maybe it is that you work and there's certain things that you need to check, like banknotes. You can just put it on level 1, you can check your banknote, and it will mean that the battery will last a little bit longer. Maybe it is that you do certain room inspections. Maybe it is that you need to check for blood splatter, maybe, kind of thing. And you need to get that so that the light projects out a little bit further. Then you can put it on to its level 3, which will mean that you'll get more out of that. But of course, it will then eat into the battery just that extra little bit quicker as well. Now as far as the battery is concerned, you may have spotted this on here, but you have 4 levels here. So if I turn this on, you'll see, so you got 100%, 75%, 50%, and 25%. So you know when it gets to a certain level that you just, yeah, you know, you need to charge this. The only thing to remember is that when you've got these on these extra modes, that if you've turned it onto an extra mode, you just have to press the other button if you want that back to the white light mode. Even so if I let's put this back on. Let's put this back onto the green laser. If I turn this off, one nice feature that I do like is you still get instant access, because if I try and do these now, I can't get it back onto the white light mode. But if I press the mode button down and then push this forward, I still do get instant access to the ultra low mode. If I then turn this off and then go back, it doesn't default it to the white light mode. It will still remember that you're on green laser. So you can kind of use a bit of a mix and match of both if that's something that you choose to. If not, it's very simple. You turn it on, press the mode button, that'll take you back to the white light, then you can turn that back off again, and then yeah, you're good to go. Now the last thing I forgot to mention is that here on the back, hopefully you'll see that there is a small glass breaker there. So if you're in security, and I think it's a good reason that this palm, this finger swell here is on the back. So if you did need to break into some glass, or if you were in a car and you needed to be able to get out of a car, and you've got this on you, then you can use this, and then you can break glass with this. Now, as always, the proof of the pudding is in the tasting. Let's get down to the fishing pond and see how this performs in the dark.
We're out, and it is a reasonably light night tonight. However, we'll go through the settings now. As I mentioned, this first one's tricky to do with one hand. So, moving it, you have to press the mode button down and then move one of the dials forward. As I mentioned, you can put that into any position, low, medium, or high, and it will put it onto its ultra low mode, which is just 1 lumen. As mentioned, it's reasonably light tonight. It's gone past midnight, but there does definitely seem to be a lot of light in the sky. But being able to see 2, maybe 3 meters ahead of me with this, no difficulties whatsoever. If it was darker, you'd certainly be able to see a lot more. But then when you're inside a building, I often find that 1 lumen is perfectly acceptable to use as an ultra load, and it's a very ultra low mode. It's a very common mode that's used on most of these. Now, I can't go from ultra low to low without turning it off. Then when I move it forward, this is where you just go through those normal modes. So here we are on the low mode, which is 50 lumens. A tree here that is about, let's move back a little bit, it's about 10 meters away. Oh no, there's about 10 meters away. Looking onto this top little pond where we often get some ducks up here. 50 lumens is fine. Looking down onto the little bottom pond down there as well. It's tricky to see some of that now, but we will be able to have a look at that in a minute when we go up to the medium mode. But again, low 50 lumens is great. Now I can push it forward again, which then puts us onto the medium mode, which is 220 lumens. Now for this one, I'm going to hold this out in front of me so that we can have a look at the hotspot here. Now, because of the orange peel reflector within this, not what you'd call a super defined hotspot, 45 degrees to the right, 45 degrees to the left. And you can see that the spill on this, again, not particularly defined. Although, I mean, actually, when you look at it like that, you can see it is reasonably defined. But 220 lumens on the medium mode does a good job. And then pushing it forward. Oh, actually, sorry, let's come back out here again. So that's where we often, sometimes when we come up here, in fact, there's a couple of ducks in there, probably just really annoyed that I've woken them up. And then looking down onto the bottom pond, you can see into there a little bit better. Now pushing it forward to the final stage, now we're on the high mode, and on high mode it bumps it up quite considerably. So we've gone from 220 lumens on medium up to 100, no we haven't, we've gone up to 1500 lumens on the high mode. So being able to see the little duck pond there, and again, so actually you can see the spill a little bit better there. This tree really is lit up. You can see up into the canopy and then down onto the other lake there. Certainly a lot easier to be able to see. Do you know what, the more I use this, the more I really do like the UI on this. Because it doesn't have the memory that some others have, but you don't really need to worry about the memory. You want to put it on medium, you slide it forward twice. You want to put it onto low, you just slide it forward once. It's really important that you get it onto its highest 1500 lumens. Push it all the way forward and you're going to get instant access to that. Now, as I mentioned, so when this is on, we'll put this onto medium at the moment. You then have that mode button. So just pressing the mode button once, this will put it onto the green laser. Now shining it on that tree. And there's a little duck island in the middle of this little pond. And then press it again. This will then put it onto its UV mode. Now there were 3 different brightness or 3 different levels for the UV mode. Let's see if we can find something that glows. A little bit of weirdness on this rock. So this is on level 1. That's on level 2. And now we're on... Ooh, there's some really nice kind of strange red tinge in that. I wonder what mineral that is. Anyway, that's very cool. Anyway, so yeah, so there you go. You can do the different levels. So you can see it a little bit on the low, mid, high. Press it again, and then, oh, trying to find the button. And then it will turn it back on until it's white light mode. The only difference is, if you've got it all the way up on its high mode, when it's on the UV setting, then let's put it back on high. You put it back onto the white light mode and you get that instant burst of light because you've got your 1500 lumens. But we're still back on high, and here again you can see it's catching the raindrops as they fall. Plenty of light as it spills out into the canopy. Now it is only 1500 lumens, but it does a good job of throwing that light. And yeah, for EDC it's a nice little light. And again, I know I keep going back to it, but just flicking this forward, the UI on here, and then of course, so as I mentioned before, here you can see, so I charged this up again before I came out tonight, and you can see the little battery indicator on there as well, which is very easy to see when you have this on in the dark at night. So yeah, so there you go.
Now I did mention at the beginning of this content that the feature set as far as white light, UV light and laser is very similar that you get from other different manufacturers. The last couple of years there's been this, let's call it a Cold War arms race to try and find that perfect setup with that kind of similar feature set. So it's not too different from what you get with others. The UI on this is what I feel will definitely separate this from other manufacturers, and the fact that it's got that kind of, I just shone that in my eyes, the fact that it looks like an OTF knife, which, you know, I can't own here in the UK. No, I can't even own them here in the UK, but it kind of looks like one of those. And I think also, and I harp on about this a lot, in many cases for a lot of people, simplicity is key. The beauty of this is you just turn it on. You don't need to remember what mode you were on, because you can always directly go to whatever mode it is that you want just with pushing that forward. When it is on, being able to switch between each of the modes. I think this again is what will separate this out from other manufacturers building lights with a similar feature set. So there you go, the EDC17 from Nitecore. Now, I do want to say, so this was sent to me from Nitecore. I do want to say a huge thank you to Nitecore for sending this out to me. I'll leave all of their links below so that you can see more from them. I'll also leave some of my social media links as well so that you can see more from me here on Moorlander EDC and my sister channel, Moorlander Tactical, where I do look at everyday kind of tactical things. And whether you're watching this on YouTube or Rumble, as always, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay EDC. I've just realised how well this camo works with the bracken at the moment. I'm like John Cena, you can't see me kind of thing. I'll have to watch that back when I edit it to see if you can actually see me, but yeah, that's pretty good. Camo, who'd have thought? Oh, these pockets are really nice and warm as well. Today, the Nitecore EDC17 is a new flashlight out, and I don't know where I was going with that. Of this as well is, it's just down to the fact that I don't know where I was going to go with that. What was I going to say? You fucking knobhead, you fucking dickhead. That was rubbish. That was rubbish as well. Simplicity, idiot. Oh, such a crappy cough. I was going to say man flu, but I hate people using the term man flu because I feel that man flu is derogatory. Like, oh, I'm a man, I've got the flu kind. It's women that call man flu man flu. If we were men and men's men, we wouldn't call it man flu. Anyway, I've got a cough. Let's just say, right. This isn't coming out on a Sunday or a Wednesday. I think this is coming out on Tuesday, mainly because of the date that this goes live, which I think is the 18th. It can't be the 18th, that's just gone. I think it was the 28th. So anyway, I hope you're all good. I hope you all had an awesome weekend. And yeah, EDC17. It's cool. Sweet.